So in this video, we're going to show how to use the Autodesk Online version. It's very similar to the version we've been using in school. It doesn't have quite all of the features, and some of the things in the menu are in slightly different places, but we should be able to find everything and still be able to create all of our designs. So the first thing we're going to do is go to myhub.autodesk360.com. And when you get there, you're going to log in with the same credentials that you've been using all year long. And I'm going to click Stay Signed In since I'm going to use this quite a bit, and this is my computer. And when we get here, you can see a lot of the different projects that you've created. These are the different Automata projects that I've made over the years. The Fusion tutorial ones, the IED practice. I'm going to put this in the Fusion tutorials. And remember earlier in the year we made the banana hook and the angled bracket. Quite a bit of these different parts were from those. So if I wanted to modify one of those parts, say the banana hook, I wanted to modify it, I'd come over here, I would click on this little down arrow, and I would say open in web. Or if I actually had Fusion on my computer, I could click open in desktop and that should open the desktop version, I believe. I haven't tried it that way, but I would click open in web and you can see it's opening a new window. And it's connecting. You can kind of see up in here, we've got model, we've got some of our other tools. Oh, this was one that was made in a special way where we were modifying one of them. I think that's why that's not working. So let's try opening up, if I click on the house, let's try opening up one of the parts that I made in the Automata. Let's see, I made the axle, so we'll click on that, open that in the web. And you can see this is the axle that we used in the Automata. Got some of the same tools up here. Here's sketch, so if you can create a new sketch. If once you've made your sketch, you can extrude, revolve, sweep, loft. These are all the same tools we had before. We even have the change parameters, so you can set up those equations and have things work with those equations. Now, we don't have the ability to do all of these things yet. So if you wanted to make a drawing, if you wanted to make a really nice render, you'd need to use the desktop version for those things. But we can do all our animation. One thing that's important to notice, this does not autosave. So if you want to save something, the save is right up here, or you can click File, Save would be possible had I made any changes. Here's also where you can export to a STL if you wanted to send me something so that I could 3D print it for you. So the STL file. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to close this tab and this tab and go back into my Fusion tutorials and show you how to make one of the parts that's assigned for activity number 7. So here, since I'm not modifying something, I'll click New right up here, New Fusion Design. And the part that I'm going to make for this is this black washer. You can see it's got a diameter of 0.1654 on the inside, 0.3150 on the outside. Now hopefully it doesn't say the units, but millimeters would not make sense. 0.3 millimeters is probably the thickness of a wire, maybe. maybe smaller than that. So inches would make sense if you're going to actually put a washer that something would go through. So here's my file. The first thing I'm going to do is click Create Sketch. I'm going to sketch this one, and again, it never really matters which one you want to sketch on, but I'm going to choose that one. This time, like I said, I'm going to make two circles. 0.3150 is the first one. So circle, click on the origin. That's in millimeters. So let's go into my document settings, modify, and change that to inches. And then my sketch will be inside here. So I can double click on that sketch to go back into it. And I'll make my circle. Now I'd like to make it in the center, but if you make a mistake, it's okay. If I think I'm clicking on the center because I see that white dot, but it doesn't end up going to the center, I could redo that, or I can fix it just like this. Because we've got all our constraints over here. So I can click on the constraint, coincident constraint. I can click on that and move it to the origin. You can see it moved it to the right spot there. So that was the outside circle. 0.1654 is the second circle. This time I'm going to make sure I see that red dot before I click. So now I know it's going to be locked to the center. I forgot what that number was, so let's come back over here. 0.1654. Here's dimension, so I can click on that. 0.1654, enter. Now you can see I've got my two circles. I'll create extrude. The profile I want to use is this one, and the thickness is 0.125. So there's my washer. That looks pretty good. So like I said, it doesn't autosave, so I'm going to save that as black washer. And I'm ready to move on.